Thanks for joining us. Canada held its own ceremony Friday to mark the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge connecting Windsor to Detroit. Ottawa canceled a joint celebration with the United States in light of American President Donald Trump's latest tariff threats. We'll have more on that in a moment, but first to the bridge. Members of the Howe family were present for the celebration.
In 2015, when it was announced that the bridge would be named for our father, I showed Mr. Hockey some renderings, what the bridge would look like and where it would be built. In classic, humble Gordie Howe fashion, he just smiled and said, "Well, that sounds pretty good to me." And how fitting the Gordie Howe Bridge spans from the Howe's first home to our final home. Our parents loved life, and they loved people. They dedicated their lives to building bridges between people, between families, between communities, and between nations. This bridge will serve as an unmistakable symbol of the priceless bond and true friendship between the people of Canada and the people of the United States.
As for the politics behind today's announcement, as the ceremony was being held, President Trump posted on Truth Social saying, quote, "Canada's disinvited the United States of America to the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge, which is fine, considering they are paying substantial tariffs to the United States. The original deal on the bridge, which was terribly negotiated by a previous administration, no longer stands. We changed the terms of the deal so that the United States of America now gets 50% of the profit." Of course, Trump neglected to mention he signed off on the original agreement during his first term in office. At issue is the sharing of revenues. Prime Minister Mark Carney has stated revenues would be shared once the debt to build the bridge is paid off, but that's not what Trump has said. Here's what Federal Housing Minister Gregor Robertson had to say to reporters following today's ceremony.
These agreements are in place and they are public, available. They set forth the terms and conditions and the working relationship that we have, and we will continue to collaborate. We want to get this bridge open, and ultimately it serves both countries so well. Fitting that Gordie Howe is who this bridge is named for. You know, there's times when the elbows get up a bit. We rough it up in the corner, but we come out of this stronger, and we've got a beautiful bridge here that's going to serve Windsor and Detroit, Canada and the U.S. for generations to come. That's the ultimate prize here, and the finances of it are strong and will serve Canadians as well.
In other news, the trial of a man accused of killing his 9-year-old Montreal daughter resumed Friday in New York. Luciano Fratellin is charged with second-degree murder and concealment of a human corpse. We get more on this report from Erica Morris with the Canadian Press.
Police officers from Warren County were the first to testify at a criminal trial for Luciano Fratellin. The 46-year-old is facing charges of second-degree murder and concealing a body in the death of his daughter Melina in July of last year. Police told the court they were able to find the body of the 9-year-old girl from Montreal after reviewing the location history on her father's cell phone. Fratellin has pleaded not guilty to both charges. The court heard a recording from a 911 call he made last July alleging his daughter had been kidnapped. Police later noticed contradictions in his story. The defense says police didn't properly investigate the kidnapping allegations. The girl's mother from Montreal is also expected to testify in the case as the trial continues.
Volunteer searchers continue to scour northwest Calgary neighborhoods looking for an 11-year-old autistic boy who's been missing for more than a week. The boy, named Parker, walked away from a day home last Thursday morning. Hundreds of volunteers have heeded the call for help.
From back alley to back alley with my music on, the Disney song. So yeah, it's unfortunately I didn't find him. I'm just trying to help. I just wanna help the family and involve. Well, we're in this one. Calgary is good for helping each other. I'm hoping that my path will find him.
I think that Parker has really touched the heart of all Calgarians, and we want to, as a mom, I want to see this boy found. I couldn't imagine if it was my own child. We want to hope that he's safe, and I think Calgarians have a very big heart, and they'll do whatever they can to help this boy and his family.
Mental health experts say this type of event can be emotionally intense for first responders and volunteers. They recommend those helping in the search to take breaks, rest, stay connected with others, and step back when necessary. Now to the latest on the Canadian wildfire front. There's been no new wildfires in Ontario in the last 24 hours. The Ministry of Natural Resources didn't report any new flames as nearly 180 active fires are still burning in the province. The wildfires have forced more than 1,800 people from their homes, with Indigenous communities impacted the most. In the west, about 100 wildfires are burning across British Columbia. The out-of-control 59 Creek wildfire northwest of Clinton has grown to more than 102 square kilometers, while the entire southeast city of Kimberley is under evacuation alert due to the nearby bootleg complex of wildfires. Meanwhile, in Europe, Spain declared a national emergency Friday after wildfires forced the evacuation of some 20,000 people from villages near Madrid. While in southern France, more than 90,000 residents fled their homes to escape two major blazes. Authorities in southwestern France ordered more mass evacuations along the Atlantic coast because of the large wildfires. Spain and France both asked fellow European Union members for help. French President Emmanuel Macron says they're expecting reinforcements, including two Croatian Canadair firefighting aircraft, two Portuguese air tractor aircraft, and two heavy-lift Black Hawk helicopters from Czech Republic and Slovakia. There's over 100 fires still burning in British Columbia alone. With smoke making its way east to our province, Lethbridge and Calgary have been under air quality advisories for the past week, with similar conditions expected to linger throughout the weekend. BCN's Landon Hickok has more details.
Smoke continues to choke southern Alberta, stemming from wildfires from British Columbia and the northwestern U.S. states. Lethbridge remains under two yellow weather alerts from Environment Canada under air quality and heat. On Thursday, the city hit a high of 7 on the air quality index, which has managed to increase to 8 on Friday. 8 and higher is considered to be very high risk for the general population, with Environment Canada recommending that people spend less time outdoors and avoid strenuous activities. If you plan to be outdoors for a prolonged period of time this weekend, it's common you might experience some mild symptoms, including coughing, headaches, and irritations to the eyes, throat, and nose. Some individuals are more at risk than others, according to Environment Canada, including elderly over the age of 65, pregnant women, young children and infants, and people dealing with current illnesses and chronic health conditions. It is advised that these individuals stay inside, close and lock all windows and doors, and acquire a good quality air filter if you already don't have one. Saturday is expected that we hit a weekly high of 35 degrees Celsius, but the air quality is expected to improve to a moderate 4 on the air quality index.
Yeah, you can really see that smoke out there. Thank you, Landon. And we go from wildfire smoke to cigarette smoke. On August 1st, Canadians looking to buy cigarettes will see some new warnings on the packages. Canada started putting warnings on cigarette packages back in 2021, but a new series of 13 images will be even more graphic.
Warnings on packages work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They increase awareness of the health effects. They decrease smoking among the general population. They make the package and the product less appealing. It's one of the core tobacco control measures that we have in Canada. Canada was the first country in 2001 to have pictures as part of health warnings on cigarette packages. There's now 140 countries and territories worldwide that have followed the Canadian precedent. And it was 2024 that Canada set a new world precedent to have those warnings directly on individual cigarettes. Australia has followed Canada, and the second round of those warnings on cigarettes is appearing in stores now. It's important to keep warnings fresh so they don't become stale. And that's why you have this series of rotation that's happening. Warnings are really important in terms of tobacco control. A picture says 1,000 words. Having that picture of the health effects can be striking, memorable, and it really says visually the truth in terms of the health effects of smoking.
Canadian Blood Services is putting out the call for donors. It says blood donations have plummeted over the last several weeks, and they're now facing a blood supply shortage. The agency is urging people across Canada to book a blood donation appointment. Canadian Blood Services manages the blood supply in all provinces except Quebec. It says all blood types are needed and that there are fewer donation appointments booked than expected in all provinces. Elections Alberta has completed the signature verification process of an Alberta independence petition that's still before the courts. Stay Free Alberta's petition needed just over 177,000 signatures to be successful. The final tally shows they gathered more than 286,000 signatures, but the actual number of verified signatures is 222,597. The petition is still being held up in court, though. Stay Free Alberta and the province are both appealing a judge's ruling that says the province neglected its duty to consult First Nations, and the chief electoral officer made an error in law in approving the petition in the first place. Election Alberta says next steps will depend on the outcome of the appeal and further direction from the court. The Alberta Serious Incidents Response Team, also known as ACERT, has been called in to investigate a recent fatality in Lethbridge. On July 13th at about 7:30 p.m., Lethbridge police responded to multiple 911 calls about a man walking west on the high-level bridge, which is a railway trestle and not open to pedestrians. When officers arrived, they approached the man near the middle of the bridge. One officer spoke with the man and directed him to leave the bridge, but the man remained there. The officer and the man continued to speak, but a short time later, following an interaction with the officer, the man went over the side of the bridge. Paramedics declared him dead at the scene. ACERT's investigation will examine the officer's actions and the circumstances surrounding the man's death, including what occurred immediately before the man went over the side of the bridge. Is it too early to start thinking about Christmas? Maybe not if you're a nonprofit involved in the Christmas Hope campaign. And good news for them. For the first time, Christmas Hope partners will have a presence at the downtown farmers market this Saturday as part of their Christmas in July gift card campaign. The initiative is giving residents an early opportunity to support local families in need months before the holiday season. Community members can donate gift cards, food, toys, gifts for seniors, or make financial contributions while learning about the 7-agency partnership.
This Saturday is the perfect day because July 25th is exactly 6 months away from Christmas Day. And so we're going to be on site at Farmers Market. Right when you walk in the door, you can stop by our booth and learn a little bit more about what we do, as well as give a contribution to your partner of choice. The Christmas Hope partners have launched our Christmas in July campaign earlier this month, encouraging community members to help us get a head start on our Christmas preparations. All of our 7 partners are accepting gift cards throughout the month of July. It is never too late to give. We figured a Christmas in July campaign would be a great way for us to be able to get the community thinking about all the work that goes into being ready for Christmas Hope in December.
The Christmas Hope campaign supported more than 8,800 people across Lethbridge and the surrounding area last year. A longtime Coalhurst resident has been named the 2026 Minor Days Honorary Parade Marshal. Allison Arneson has spent more than 50 years serving the community through volunteer work, public service, and the Royal Canadian Legion. She will lead Saturday's parade as the town recognizes her decades of dedication. Mayor Deb Florence says Arneson's commitment has helped shape Coalhurst.
Alison Arneson was selected as the Honorary Parade Marshal because of her incredible impact on the town of Coalhurst. She has been silently serving in this community. She was integral to the start of the town when the town was still a village. She served on council. She served on recreation boards. She's been the MC for the Remembrance Day ceremonies that the Coalhurst Legion puts on. She's just really served this community with heart and tenacity. This is an important event for us because it's a celebration of all that we are today, but it's also a celebration of our past. It's an opportunity to bring everybody together that has made an impact on Coalhurst over the years and really celebrate how far we've come from village to town and celebrate our roots and our history.
The parade will begin Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. If you're heading to the Lethbridge Bulls game tonight, you're going to notice a new look on the field. The Bulls plan to debut their new limited edition Henderson Lake Bull Sharks kits, which are inspired by the lake across from where they play at Spitz Stadium, originally known as Henderson Stadium. The new jersey designed for City Connect Night is meant to introduce a fresh and exciting look while tracing back to its community roots. The jerseys and other themed merchandise will be available to purchase at tonight's game at 7 p.m. against the Swift Current 57s. With limited production, fans are encouraged to arrive early.
I'm Sean Haney with RealAgriculture.com. Saskatchewan's value-added processing sector just got a massive boost right in the heart of pulse and canola country. Global grain giant Louis Dreyfus Company officially celebrated the grand opening of its major facility expansion in Yorkton today. The completed site features LDC's first ever pea protein facility alongside a doubled canola processing footprint capable of crushing over 2 million metric tons annually. For Western Canadian farmers, this means an expanded, highly convenient local market for yellow peas and canola seed. The new plant will process up to 75,000 metric tons of yellow peas each year into protein isolates, fiber, and starch destined for food, pet food, and renewable energy markets around the world. The expansion brings 140 new jobs to Yorkton, Saskatchewan, bringing LDC's local workforce to 260 people by the end of the year. It's a major vote of confidence in Saskatchewan's ag sector, delivering processing capacity and long-term supply chain certainty right to the farm gate. For Bridge City News, I'm Sean Haney with RealAgriculture.com.
WestJet is offering customers a chance to make some booking changes ahead of a possible strike by the airline's flight attendants. The flight attendants could go on strike as soon as August 2nd if they're unable to reach a new deal before then. The airline says the flexible travel policy applies to those planning to travel between July 30th and August 4th and gives them a chance to make one-time changes to their bookings. WestJet says talks with the union continue to progress, and it's optimistic that it can reach an agreement. Speaking of strikes, security officers at the Bank of Canada went on strike in June after contract talks between the union and central bank failed. And now the bank has been ordered once again to not use replacement workers while security officers are on strike. The Canada Industrial Relations Board says the central bank contravened the Canada Labour Code by using contractors from Pinkerton Consulting and Investigations during the strike that started last month. The board released a similar decision earlier this month involving the use of contractors from Garda Security Corporation as well as the services of union members. Ford Motor Company is recalling over 36,000 Broncos in Canada, which is part of a broader move impacting more than 500,000 Broncos in the U.S. due to the risk of an engine fire. The company says Ford Broncos and Bronco Raptors with the model years 2021 to 26 are included in the recall. It says a wiring harness issue in the engine compartment of the vehicles can short circuit and increase the risk of fire, noting an estimated 1% of those under recall have the defect. Ford said it's not aware of any reports of accidents or injuries related to the issue. Drivers can check Ford's website to determine whether their vehicles are affected by the recall. Well, we talked about Christmas earlier in our program and how it's maybe too early to start thinking about it, but is it also too early to start shopping for Christmas? Well, maybe if you're a real cater. But for those who are always on the hunt for something new and exciting, toy companies are offering an early preview of toys expected to top holiday wish lists at the annual Sweet event in New York, which showcases the latest games, collectibles, and must-have releases.
This is our annual event where we throw a big toy party. There's more than 65 toy companies here. They're here to give press and influencers a sneak peek at what's going to be hot for the holidays. We've got so many great toys here. I'm so excited to show you some of them. We also have the Tickle Me Elmo Giggle Max, which is going to be so hot this holiday season. The 30th anniversary of Tickle Me Elmo. The TikTok shop is here this year because social shopping is really where it's at. That's how people are starting to buy. That's where consumers are going to retail. So as you're sitting and scrolling on the couch, you're also getting to see all the great toys out there, and you know that they're being sold by trusted retailers through their own TikTok shops.
There you go. And now here's a look at today's markets.
The TSX is up 176 to 35,369. The Dow is up 235 to 51,947. The S&P 500 was up 3 to 7,411, and the Nasdaq was down 161 to 24,975. West Texas Intermediate Oil was down 172 to 90.46 US per barrel. Natural gas was down 3 cents to 2.88 US. Gold was up 231 to 40.5208 US an ounce, and silver was up 55 cents to 58.18 US an ounce. Feed wheat is at $8.44 per bushel, barley is at $6.71, canola is at $18.85, and corn is at $7.98 per bushel. Live cattle August contract was up 167 to 227.07. Feeder cattle August contract was up 155 to 345.32. Lean hogs August contract was up 70 cents to 102.85, and the Canadian dollar was down slightly over the past 24 hours and currently sits at 70.90 US.
Recapping one of our top stories, Canada has held its own ceremony to mark the upcoming opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge. The government canceled a joint celebration with the U.S. after President Trump threatened new 50% tariffs. The bridge connecting Windsor, Ontario with Detroit is scheduled to open to traffic on Monday. There has been controversy over the province making changes to the Assured Income for the Severely Handicapped, or AISH program. Disabled Albertans who have been classified as able to work have been switched over to the Alberta Disability Assistance Program, or ADAP. Many do not like this transition. Nathan Newdorf, Minister of Assisted Living and Social Services, joins us to bring clarity to the controversial changes. His interview coming right up. Also, when you see news happening in your community, be sure to send us an email at info@bridgecitynews.ca. You can also visit our website or YouTube channel anytime to check out more of our content and poll questions.